Voy para allá, o sea, os digo dónde es, en gran pantalla. Ya ves ahí, voy a empezar y ya porque quiero ponerme en el mejor sitio. Un amigo mío me ha dicho que si estaba más de una hora viendo la descripción o te daban 8.000 pavos, es lo que me ha dicho un amigo o una chica. O sea, yo no sé, no sé si me entiendo. Y estamos con mi amigo Ángel, vendiendo carne. O sea, mi amigo va a ver lo de J Balvin y yo voy a ver las expediciones. En su canal tendré el concierto y en el mío tendré la expediciones.
Vale, empezamos ya.
Vale, aquí estamos viéndola. Aquí.
5 minutos, pon aquí el contador.
Wow.
5 minutos.
Dios, qué buena, tío. Falcon Patoli. Tío, Falcon. Es Falcon. Es Falcon. Tío, con Falcon. 9 puntos lleva Falcon, 9. Yo no sé el compañero que lleva. Pero lleva 10 puntos.
Pero ahí se ve la FNS, ahí
sí,
donde estás tú.
La estoy viendo yo.
¿Te sale ahí?
Sí, ojo con Falcon para Tony. Ojo con Falcon.
¿Ella la están jugando?
Sí, o sea, están practicándola. Bueno, Falcon. Dios, cómo rotan, tío. Ojalá fuera yo, sí.
¿Te puedes quedar Felipe, por favor?
Vale. Ay, se vi que lo ha fallado Falcon. Falcon la mete 14. Falcon va. Falcon que cree que aún.
Felipe, ¿puedes para allá?
Que no, que quiero hacer esto. Pues
sí, pero si te queda en silencio.
Perdón. Falcon le meto 200. No,
me voy de la sola. Insoportable, tío.
Falcon. Falcon le pilla por ahí. Falcon le pilla por ahí. Le rota.
Lo tendré ahí en mi...
Falcon lo mata. Falcon mete un 150.
Es un poco así.
Falcon intenta rematar, pero ahí se la ha llevado.
Le hace otro búsqueda.
Falcon va. Ahí va Falcon. Falcon.
Vale.
Ahí va.
Está a punto de comenzar.
Espera, queda uno, Falcon HD. Falcon HD que se va para el lobby. Falcon aquí. ASMR,
Aspi. Y
vamos
vamos a verlo en
ASMR Falcon. ASP, que me he equivocado. Se cree que queda uno. Ay, Falcon ahí. ASMR Aspi. Lo remata. Se lo carga.
3 minutos quedan.
Ay, que lleva 30 puntos, tío. ¡Qué otaku! Madre mía, qué otaku. Vale. O sea, vale, good, ASMR Speed. Buena. Buena. Sí, Fernando, te puedes unir. Tú tranquilo que te puedo unir.
A ver, no me mane...
Sí que me está comiendo un caramelo fachedoncio. Vale. ASMR Aspi. Ostras, 2 personas. ¿Quién es la otra persona? Yo llevo 2 personas en mi directo y tú, Ángel. ASMR Aspi. 44 puntos. Es que tiene. O sea, tiene un buen trío rotando ahí. Buah. Vale. Le rusea. Le mete un cinta en la cabeza. Lo mata. Acaba matándolo al final. Vale, lo remata. Rota fuera. Come un poquito de zona, nada poco. Vale, le pilla el edit. Le edita. Come zona, 10 de vida le quita ahora la zona. Vale. Con la escoba.
Queda...
Vale. SMR Aspi
poco más
es
de un
buen
minuto
ardo.
y medio.
O sea, no es mal ardo.
Mientras puedo decir, por favor, seguirme en...
Vale, se que crea una Isis. Madre mía, yo se la están sacando, bueno, se están sacando la poronga.
Que lo disfrutéis.
De ahí, bro, se la están sacando.
A ver, me subo una...
Vale. Vale.
La vela esta.
Chupa zona. 53 puntos que lleva. Vale. Vale.
Va a ser.
Vale. Vale, se carga uno, 57 puntos que llama HM Raspi, 200 de vida, 7 kills,
Vamos a verlo.
47 madera,
Lo que pasa.
lleva un lutazo, buenardo, remamardo. Vale, peteamos iPony IK, vale, buena. Mi madre literal la que voy a meter iPhone IK. Vale, iPhone lleva 0 kills, no pasa nada, la puedes remontar las kills.
Quedan 30 segundos
Sí.
para que empiece el concierto
Vale,
de
le
Liberty.
mete, se carga SMR SPF, tío. Vale, le queda
Vamos a verlo ahora. Ya son las 7. 25 segundos.
Vale, se lo ha rematado. Intenta pillar hate, pero no puede porque está ahí su compañero y le acaba de taponar de una manera que lo
Vamos
acaba
a
de
ver
pillar.
si...
Vale, su compañero se parte la pierna. No, porque tenía la
No,
mano de
vamos a hacer
impulso.
no,
Ay,
no,
qué
no.
importa.
Ojo que empieza ya.
Ponelo, tira, pon tira al
6,
último, pon tira,
5,
ponlo, tira,
4,
ponlo, tira.
3,
Se lo carga, pero
2,
es que se lo han mandado.
1.
Vale. Pon, llégala, pon,
Sí,
llega,
vale.
pon, llega, pon, llega,
Oh, lo que
pon,
pasa.
llega. Pon, llega, le pilla el edit, pon, llega, le pide el edit. Lo mate, primera partida para el Ponkey. Buenísima, el Ponkey. Ahora estamos a Shaq Modix. Buenísima, Ponkey. Este lleva 70 puntos. Yo creo que irá el primero, no lo sé. Luego si eso lo revisamos. Buah.
Ojo que empieza.
Vale, buena, el Ponkey. Estoy infinito y quiero verlo solo una cosa. Vale, no.
Y luego está viendo la vela.
Sí. Buah, tío.
Vale.
Vale, tío. Ay, sí se ve bien, ¿eh? Ahora yo no toco aquí el mando, lo dejo aquí en un lado. Ahora a decir.
Ojo que te mazo. Me han dicho que salía T-Set.
Sí, sale este
¡Ojo!
Vale, Sir Monkey, madre mía. Solo queda él y su compañero, ha muerto, o sea.
¡Ojo!
Ah, no, pero ¿cuánto queda? Ah, vale, ¿qué? Vale, quedan dos. O sea, queda él y otro. Vaya craqueada la acaba de meter.
¡Ojo!
O sea, a la LTA se la había llevado ese tío, ¿vale? Vale, Fernando Seboni. Vale. Vaya deleteado. Vaya, le rompe el cubo a ver si puede hacer algo. Le sube con granada de impulso. La tiene ahí un poquito jodida, la partida.
¡Vamos! ¡Qué concierto!
Vale, ve. Muy bien. Vale, o sea, se queda ahí campeando. Vale. Se une su compañero ahí al campeo. Vaya. O sea, lo acaban de deletear, va uno así. Vale, se cura. Buah, qué opción la acaba de meter, bro. Vale, kilaza para Shaq Modix. Que tío se ponen los nombres. Vale, ahora nos toca Adolf FN. Buah. Vale, voy a invitar a Fernando que... Ay, Dios, yo creo que también sabes quién. Vale, buena. Creo que craquearon uno.
Y no hablo, es que no quiero molestar un poco mucho.
Vale. 42 puntos esto
La
lleva un
mitad.
poquito, pero tío, si fuera es la FDS final, o sea,
Ahí tengo
mejor que se
uno.
han clasificado. Vale, su compañero creo que necesita ayuda. Ah, no, sí está un poquito, tampoco está tanto. Chupazona un poco, se queda 80 de vida y haciendo escudo, se va a echar un plastic, se echa una plastic con su compañero. Vale. Buena.
O sea, vi
Ángel,
Hostia, que
que
¿estás
estás haciendo
viendo?
lo Sí, lo estoy viendo. Estoy grabando vídeo, directo no vídeo.
¿dónde es para verlo?
¿Pero qué te refieres? ¿La
A fiesta
FCNS
magistral.
o el concierto?
No sé, lo que...
Pero...
Están las dos en lo mismo.
Pero-
Uno está en la gran pantalla y el otro en lo de lo otro.
Hola.
Vale.
Mira, ahora todo el mundo
Adolfo
me levantó.
FN se la está sacando,
Oh, sí, acabas de volver, ¿no?
Un poco.
No, yo no era, es otro.
No
Pero me tengo que poner en modo creativo.
Acabas de volver, ¿no? ¡Hola!
Vaya.
Me
Ahora se
meto...
buguea la pantalla, qué divertido. Vale,
Me
vale.
tengo que meter a fiesta ultra...
A fiesta
tumba.
magistral. Es lo que pone, pero si te pone otra cosa,
Fiesta ultratumba.
Eso.
será eso.
Sí, sí, pone eso.
¡J Balvin!
Me estoy uniendo.
Vale, perfecto. Vale, vale, que no quiero.
Te tienes
Yo es
que
que no
ir
se
con
mete,
el tuyo.
tío.
Fernando, ¿tú
Yo
qué
media
vas a
hora
ver,
la-
el concierto o la FCNS?
La FNS.
Ya, yo también estoy viéndola aquí.
Pero está en directo, está el concierto ahora.
Están las dos cosas.
Sí, lo estoy viendo yo.
la FCNS y estoy grabando en directo.
¿Qué hacen la
Vale, Adolfo,
hamburguesa?
no sé- vale, Adolfo la tiene perdida, no tiene cura, solo tiene escudo, ¿vale?
Ay.
Nada, Adolfo.
Hello
Empieza
and
la
welcome
FCNS.
to Chapter 2 Season 4 Grand Finals.
¿Pero dónde
¿Cómo
está y
se
dónde se ve la
llama
FNS?
en tu canal?
Mira, le das el mapa y te sale
Vale, chavales.
escenario
Yo ya me
principal.
callo.
Guys,
Y ahí lo están
yesterday
haciendo.
we had some incredible
Esto yo no puedo
games,
pasar.
and today we are back for the
¿Dónde
exciting
está?
conclusion
¿Dónde
and crown
está justo?
of brand new FNCS
Yo es en el escenario
Está todo el
principal.
mundo viendo el...
How are the hype levels, boys? I love
Pues la
asking this
FCNS
question 'cause
mejor.
I love
¿Dónde
the
está?
memes
¿Dónde
it
está?
provides.
Escenario principal.
¿Dónde está eso?
Please.
El
¿Dónde
que
está la
está eso?
FNS?
en gran
¿La
pantalla.
FNS dónde está?
En la gran
Y el
pantalla.
concierto está en el escenario principal. Le dais al mapa y os sale.
Hola.
Mami, se haciendo de cobas.
Yo le sigo a ti, ¿vale?
This is me currently on cloud 9.
Yo te sigo a
This
ti,
is
¿vale?
me. This is
Vale.
me over the moon.
José, está ya en tu
And actually
casa.
also, my hype levels
Sí.
are still off the charts right now.
Wow.
Estoy siguiendo al que se unió con nosotros.
That's what we live
No sé cómo
for.
se llama. No me
Also,
acuerdo.
big shout out to everyone in Party Royale. If you're tuning in here, watching us live,
¿Dónde está la
hello,
pantalla?
thank you so much for taking time to hang out with us. We hope you have an
Aquí yo lo
incredible
veo bien,
time.
lo
Use
veis
your
bien
favorite
todo.
emotes, use the paint, throw the tomatoes, all of the above.
Tío,
Just
¿dónde-
have
cómo
an
te subió ahí?
awesome time.
Eso digo yo, ¿cómo
7
coño se
days
subió
of
ahí?
EU ahead of us.
Sí, tiene lanzaventusa y tiene...
Now, real quick, let's talk about the broadcast. What you guys
Ama.
can expect as viewers
Pues la
as you're
mejor
watching.
vista.
Adivina
Lánzame
el
algo,
concierto.
déjame una lanzaventosa.
¿No ya?
What got
A mí también, porfa.
Well, we
Toma,
started the
cuando
day
suba
with
Fernando, que te
round
lo
one.
deja ahí.
From there, the top 15 trios pushed on through the heats. There was a 2-day competition.
Fernando,
6
ponte
games
Dale tu set.
where the top 8 trios then moved on to grand
¿Quién va
finals.
ganando por ahora? ¿Quién va
However,
primero?
yesterday,
De
there was a
momento
very
no acaba de
special
empezar,
wild
pero
card.
en la para
One
clase.
trio, the
Hostia.
big three out of that
Sube.
lap-
Oh, se puede ver así.
that trio
¿Y
joined
tiene la escoba?
32 trios
Sí,
already
hago,
in grand
sí.
finals.
A ti esto,
Kicked
Fernando,
off
que
5
así
matches
ganas. Sí.
yesterday.
Bueno, yo me quedo aquí abajo,
We're
se ve
here
bien.
for the next 7
Aquí se ve mejor si lo centras.
There's gonna be brand new
es que cuesta
FNCS
centrarlo.
champions.
And they'll have that Axe of Champions as well. It'll be EU, the region that we're watching first. That wildcard match team is
Felipe,
performing
súbete,
so well
espérate.
today as
Dale.
well, but
Pues,
at the
¿Está
same time,
buga la
day one, it
FCNS
was just its
final?
own
Creo que
separate
no.
thing. Now
No
with day
sé.
two, the scores
Pues
are
tira el
combined.
lanzamiento ahí
¿Quién
abajo.
está?
New stories we'll get to
¿Está
watch
SMR?
happen
¿Está
at the
SMR?
end
Sí,
half of
ASMR,
these
sí.
finals.
That's
Deja.
right. You're probably asking yourself,
Deja la
well,
entonces.
Zeke, Shio, how are these guys
Toma, ahora me la
earning
das.
points? What are they doing to move up and down the leaderboard? Hey,
Esta
don't worry,
SMR
we
Speed
got you
ha
covered.
perdido.
Take a
O sea,
look here.
en
We've
las
got the
partidas de
Victory
calentamiento ha
Royale. It's
perdido.
worth 25
¿Y
points.
dónde está el
There's
Ángel?
33
Yo,
trios.
en-
The trio can
¿dónde
land
está el
17
concierto?
or higher. They'll start
¿Y eso
to
dónde
earn
es?
¿Pero por qué quieres ver el concierto?
And
Te lo marco
finally,
aquí.
every
Porque,
single
porque,
elimination
¿y por qué no lo voy a ver?
we always
Porque
kind
la
of go
FCNS
back
es
and
mejor.
Es mejor la
where on the spectrum
FNS.
they fall. You know, we've
¿Y
seen
para
trios
qué?
like Mongrel, Mitchell, and
Porque la
Payson.
FCNS
They've
te
got that
enseña
average
cosas que tú no has sabido hacer en Fortnite y te lo hacen esto.
¿Qué te dan? ¿Una mierda?
And
Bueno, pues.
they've
Eso
got
es
that
mentira
average
de que te dan
point
algo.
point
¿A que sí? ¿A que sí?
guys are just
Una trola de Masi.
You know, average
Como
gamers
no
of
tienen algo.
8.4 is already above what we see from
No, yo
most
quiero verla porque quiero verla.
in their
Ya, yo.
region. It's usually around like that 5
Yo estoy ampliando.
to mid sixes range. So these
Yo
guys are
también.
already slaying
Hacho,
out
tengo
way
3
harder
personas
than
en el
average
directo
people
y
who
no
are
sé
winning
quién
their
son.
region.
Chogru,
Better
apártate
placement,
ya.
an
Otro
average
día.
of 3.6, and they have 2 victory royales out of
Se
5.
moja.
One,
La
2
cosita
games
que
out
se
of
moja.
5. These guys are just
Cállate,
playing
cállate,
over the
que
line.
estoy
They're
envidiando,
managing to
¿qué?
balance a
Me
little bit
salta el copyright.
Fernando ha hecho
Me salta el
directo.
copyright.
that victory royale,
No,
and that's why
no quiero
they're so
hacerlo.
far ahead.
Pues.
No, no,
Salta el
no.
copyright,
they
loco.
continue that momentum, right? Can they keep this
Fernando quiere ver el baile que me
En un
mandado,
estado
que
te
tenía
mandó a
hace
decir
poco.
que ahora todo
¡Cállate!
Not only will they have a
Tío,
Fernando,
cae ella.
Fernando, tú
Mari,
párate.
una botella.
Macho,
Tío,
para.
no, no, tío.
Fernando, mira el baile que tengo.
just being able to make it this far.
Yo creo con amigos que no son amigos en
Pero no me deja oírlo
We're
ahora.
gonna watch some of the very tippy top
Bueno, lo voy a
performing
hacer,
trios,
pero,
some of the craziest action. We're talking some of the craziest play. I'm hoping for
Baja
some big
aquí abajo.
wow factors, just like, hey, I'm just gonna go find an RPG.
Ahí se ve bien.
That's what I want. guys.
Sí, le das
I mean,
centro y
that's
se ve
Europe,
bien.
Europe, right? So
Dale
we'll
al cuadrado.
have
Aquí se ve
that
mejor.
every single
Se ve
top,
mil
but it's
veces
always
mejor
a new
aquí.
way. No
Dale
one
cuadrado.
can predict, not even Reese, I'm going to say that,
Ya, ya,
when
ya.
it's in-game stuff
I quiero win.
going down. So I'm excited to see what happens today. It's going to be an absolute
jugar.
blast.
I think I'll predict it.
Oh,
Come on.
se
I think. You
moja.
know what?
Y la
Maybe we'll
cosita
have
que
an
se
RPG
moja.
rocket launcher elimination thrown in there, something in the mix. that
Aquí se ve
something
mejor.
that I do expect it. You know what? There is always stuff that comes.
Ostras,
out.
aquí se ve bien.
Always hilarious to watch.
Ven aquí abajo.
Vehicles making.
Haz aquí
pickup
se ve
eliminations
mejor.
or anything like that. I hope we do see something good like that today, though.
Fernando y
Sí, como en pantalla
I'm right
completa.
there with you. Now, of course, we do have other
Que no.
regions. 7
directo.
total
Yo también.
regions are participating.
Aquí se ve
Some of these
mejor.
regions have already concluded their games, and we actually already have some
Fernando,
Aquí
dame
abajo
la
se ve
coba.
mejor,
champions. Let's kick things off over in OCE.
Mira, esa es seguramente la kill.
Congratulations.
Fernando, dame la
No, aquí se
kill.
ve bien. Aquí sí.
Esa es la kill que si yo creo
No,
que
a
eso
ese-
no da.
Royale and 71 eliminations.
Fernando, tío,
Sí, claro.
dame la
The
coba.
acts of champions.
Esa es la quien de FNS.
Incredible performance by these
Yeah.
three guys, and if anyone knows the OCE
Pero
region,
según
they
más
should
sí
know.
pueden
que lo
pillar más.
hagan.
Jinx, Alec, and Worthy have qualified for
Fácil,
every
más
single
sí.
FNCS that we've had so far, the grand finals of it.
Y que se
6 out
moja.
of 6. And Jinx has won 3
En
of
un
those,
estado
making
te
him
mando a decir
three
que ahora
times
todo
FNCS
cambió.
champion.
Cae
You know,
ya.
these guys again were
donde
balancing
tú y yo
the
se ve
average
bien.
eliminations with placement. I'd already said earlier that those
Bueno, la verdad
average
que se ve
eliminations for the winner was around the high 5s, and these guys had 5.92.
Pero se ve mejor desde aquí. Aquí se ve
Very,
perfecto.
very, very close
Aquí
to
se ve
what we're
perfecto.
seeing and why it's giving us a good indication of
No, aquí, que
this
diga,
team
aquí.
today performing,
Aquí.
EU performing
Mira,
very, very well.
aquí, mira, pantalla completa.
And over there in second repost
Mira,
sports,
yo-
in Slinky Fishy, I
do-
believe
Ya está,
they
pantalla
won
completa.
their last game to get all the way to
22.015
207 points. So that is amazing for the second place finishers. So
¿Hay
many
alguno de
top
mando?
teams here as well on this
Eh,
stage.
creo que
Carry
sí.
on, Eshes and Sorif. These guys coming
¿Quién?
together
¿Está
in
Wolfie?
week number 2 as a brand
Wolfie
new
no.
trio, and after that,
Pero
just
no lo sé,
performing
tío.
so well. Even some high-profile trios like the X2 twins paired with Volks getting 8th place overall, having a phenomenal day 1 and just being consistent
El
on day 2
contrarreloj este
to
que
lock
es.
in a top 10.
Team that was phenomenal on day 1 is our 7th place team. The user name there is actually Gubos, Tarax, and Link. These guys had 115 points on
Ya
the first
está.
day, and they were first by quite a large margin, but unfortunately did not perform that well on the second day and kind of pulled all the way down to 7th. So that's
Jorge,
what we're
¿tú
talking
también no
about.
le
We have
ves
some of these consistent
la
teams that were
500?
performing on day 1 on the regions we're going to watch.
Yo
Need
estoy
to do
viendo
the
lo que está
exact
viendo
same thing
Felipe.
here today as well.
La
Pero
FNS.
mejor.
¿Tú qué?
That's just OCE story.
¡Hola!
Top 10, so many teams
Yo
playing.
estoy tirando
Están
tomate.
haciendo, están haciendo en amarillo.
There were more FNCSs playing
Felipe,
out
mira a mí.
in Asia as well.
Ya te he
Their
visto.
FNCS ended,
Voy a ir
and
un
we
momento a
have
ver lo de
Yeah,
DJ
we've got
Balvin
Rory,
ese.
Bob, and
Cuando empiece me lo dices.
may confuse you a
¿Está
little bit
empezando
just
ya?
'cause they're kinda a little bit
Sí.
off from their actual, but Draznak
Cuando
is
empiece-
Rory,
la
Bob
FNS,
is
digo.
Moffin, and
Ah,
Bob,
vale.
well, Bob's Bob.
Cuando
And these
empiece
guys
par-
performed very, very well,
Cuando
and
empiece
there's a
partida
little
me lo
bit of
dices.
story
Pues
behind
todavía no he
their
empezado.
previous FNCS, because,
Te juro que te lo digo.
Bob and Moffin
Pues vale,
have
pero
been
cuando
playing
empiece-
together for a long,
Ah, vale.
¿Dónde
long
está el
time.
concierto
Rory
ese?
and Moffin actually won
Conmigo
the
en
season
el escenario principal.
So they've already been a champion in trios all the way back
ya
in
está.
Champion
La da
World
el
Season
mapa
X.
y te sale el escenario
First
principal.
FNCS we ever had, these guys already won it. Coming into their
Okay, wow.
next
Aquí
FNCS,
contigo.
Ya
Pero
me
que-
voy a
these guys
sentar.
ended up placing second. So they nearly got 2 in a row. They nearly managed to get those 2
Me gusta pasarla rico. ¿Y dónde está allí? Ah, mira Balvin.
Now they've come back
Pasarla
full
rico,
circle into
no te
trios again and managed to
complico.
pick up that
Cállate,
two-time
Fer.
FNCS championship.
And still,
Está guapo,
continued
¿eh?
improvement for everyone
¿El
else
copyright
on that
ahí
first
qué?
page
¿El
as
copyright
well.
qué?
A lot of trios who were starting off
Eso digo
the
yo, ¿y el
very first
copyright ahí qué,
portion of the
coño?
FNCS at maybe 20th and 19th,
¿Verdad, Ángel?
hitting top 5. Like Seek, Peter Pan, and
Acaba de
Foxtrot, these
empezar,
guys
nada que
are
broma.
playing in the same trio in week number 1, getting 8th
Ostras, ya
place
estaba yendo yo.
overall, once again on Asia.
Mira qué
It's just
broma.
absolutely amazing. These guys are going to be walking away
Pero tú
with
sí
so
que
much
eres,
prize money, split obviously amongst those 3 individuals playing overall.
Va, voy un segundo a ver lo de...
¿Es el concierto?
Total, there are more
Yo me quedo a ver lo de la
Escenario
FNS.
principal.
A ver si empieza.
Nada, prefiero la FCNS, 100.000 millones. Ya empieza, ya empieza,
Sí,
ya
José,
empezó.
eres tú, sí.
Está primero
Estoy aquí
SMR
arriba.
Raspi. Está jugando ya SMR Raspi.
paint
¿Dónde? Estoy aquí, loco. ¿Dónde?
what happened yesterday.
El sí, te veo, hola.
Set this stage because Mongo, Mitro, and Tayson
Ya.
Está empezando ya la FNS.
out ahead of
Si está jugando
everyone
SMR
No, no te-
Aspi.
¿Qué haces cogiendo un tomate?
behind him.
Nada,
Todavía
casi
no he
fuera.
empezado, qué falso.
Champion and Alex,
Estoy aquí.
Ah,
Vale, ahora sí va a empezar. Me quedo yo, vete tú a ver el concierto si quieres.
que no.
But you know, guys, I think
Está
the
guapísimo el
biggest,
concierto.
scariest thing is what Reese
Face Mongrel está.
that is teams
Ha ganado 2 partidas.
¿Me abre la puerta?
do the same thing on
Es verdad, va primero.
see this top 5.
Y NRG y Benji Fish.
And you led into exactly what I wanted to talk about, the fact that these teams
¿Y quién está? Benji Fisi. Esta la gana. Mongrel. Madre mía, Monger, Tyson y madre mía, Mongrel y Tyson. Joder.
Si no sabes quién es Tyson. creo.
No.
Ese es el perro de...
La canción esta.
Ese es el perro de Nadine.
El mejor trío, el mejor, no, va a ganar el trío de Benji Fisi, Mr. Savage y el otro no sé quién es.
Hombre, me
Pero
estoy
esos dos van a
Busca tu paraguas.
va a ganar
Bueno, y el de
trío.
Wolfie, no me digas. Luego, Wolfie, el de Wolfie.
¿Dónde?
Un trío
Mírame.
de Wolfie.
Zeke was talking about the
Nah, pero
competition
Wolfie,
in
no es
Europe.
que no sé Wolfie y Mongrel. es que-
No, no.
Esto, buddy.
No, va a ganar el de Benji Fisi, escúchame, voy a ganar el
Yo
trío.
voy a ver, yo voy a ver
The 61
la
between
FNS.
Kinzel, who started the game in
Madre
the
mía,
playoffs,
Benji
fought
Fisi
for the win.
y Mr.
Andrea
Savage.
and Louis,
Mr.
Madre mía.
Savage.
53 points,
Yannis-
tied for 8th and
Mr.
9th.
Savage.
Savage. ¿Y Yanis dónde?
In 10th
Y
with
Yanis.
Nate, Smash Dave, who's Rojo, and Bobo at 51. Any
Te
of these
estás
guys
dando
having a
más
good day
tiempo.
can absolutely push forward and get towards that top
Oye,
5.
mientras voy a ver el
Maybe even
concierto.
contest
He
Mitro
rozado
Mongo and
algo
Tayson
aquí
themselves.
debajo del agua.
Do you think that's going to happen? Because you know what? I hope that it does. I hope that we have a team that's currently from 5th all the way down to 15th, maybe even lower, that has this big pop-off day today. Looking at this leaderboard,
¿Cómo vuelo con
to 15th,
el
there are
Jeb
plenty
este?
of names here who stick out of teams that can. Actually, you know
¿Qué
what?
Jeb?
Any one of these teams can. I think the two that
que
are
no sé cómo
probably
se llama.
favorites would be Vel, iDrop, and Stursix.
Pero una cosa que te pone en la espalda.
With Flick, Thomas,
Ah, con el
la,
Jepa.
la bruja no.
These guys have been
Jepa.
going off all the way through the
Pues
qualifiers.
dándole a
Sí,
It's kind
disparar.
of a bit interesting to see them in that 11th to 15th
No.
place slot. So today, hopefully they're going to figure
No
out
va.
what kind of went wrong.
Ah, no, con
Pero
la
es
X, con la
que el
X.
de Wolfie está bien, el trío.
Oh, they've reviewed, they've warmed up, and now they're hungry. to
Andita,
have a
eso.
Están
good
haciendo
day.
el, están,
Games, we'll see how it
están,
works.
el de la canción
Vale,
que
ya
ahora
he
es
terminado. Voy con vosotros.
para agua.
Oh yeah, man.
¿Es donde está Felipe?
All these
Sí.
people looking to bring it. And don't
Ala,
forget,
ya está.
yesterday,
¿Dónde está el car?
we had a matchmaking issue with
¿Y tú cómo consigues la cuba?
¿Está donde está Felipe?
looking at 7
Sí,
Ahí
sí,
es donde
no.
está la FNS.
At that added game,
Sí,
I
sí.
feel like
Mira el
it's
Fernando el
No,
baile que estoy
no,
haciendo.
big
Mira el
dynamic
que tengo.
change to what we see the final standings look
No
like.
sé, ahora mismo
Now,
me he
we did
perdido,
have
me he
some
perdido.
PRs, 5 total yesterday.
Yo, sí, sí, mira, estoy yo con...
Mira, acaba de empezar.
aquí, aquí.
Felipe,
No, que todavía no ha empezado.
Sí, está Wolfie,
Ah, es
RR.
verdad, es verdad, es verdad.
Close and personal.
Felipe,
porque solo pone la-
acaba de empezar, ¿no? Acaba
Fernando,
de
mira el
empezar.
baile que estoy haciendo aquí arriba.
As teammates
No, no,
and
pero
as
¿por qué se lo
former
ponen en las
players in
finales,
this
tío?
difference.
And they actually struggled through the qualifiers.
No,
a
pero
little
ahora
bit, kind of
empezará.
really
Ahora
started to
mismo
catch
está
steam
todavía
at the
no.
end, and then really start to pick up, and you can see
¿Esto
that
qué es,
team carried over
entonces?
to the grand finals with their current sixth
Ah, vale, la
place
partida
slot.
anterior.
You can see the first victory royale of the day. And moving on to game
¿Cuántas
2
partidas
was
han hecho
Mitro,
ya?
Mongo, and Tayson. Now these guys are not shy to eliminations or a victory royale, and this is the first of their set 2 victory royales
Hombre,
for the day.
tiene wallhack, tiene wallhack. ¿Cómo sabe que está ahí? ¿Cómo sabe que está ahí? Eso es wallhack, ¿eh? O lo ha visto de antes o no.
Sí, yo lo he visto de antes.
Lo que sí tiene wallhack es lo que hizo una. No sé, lo que hizo una. ¿Tú has visto el vídeo ese? Ese sí es wallhack.
That win by Andalex, Janice, and X-Squeeze was actually 15 eliminations as well, which was the highest.
Yo me he
result
perdido,
of
tío,
day
no
one.
sé
It's a
dónde coño
huge
estoy.
game coming out of them. But for game 4,
Mira, ven, ¿dónde estás?
Robabs right in that end game,
Ven.
and we talked about this a little bit yesterday.
Estoy viendo el
This game
concierto ahora
was
mismo.
focused all
Lo estoy
around
viendo con el
pressure.
Jepa.
Pues
These
entonces,
guys consistently
mira,
pressure.
pues,
Beautiful
ahora-
shot from Reggie just to
ven.
finish things off there.
Sígueme. Ven aquí, donde estoy yo, mírame. ¿Me ves?
No te veo.
Mira, estoy aquí. Ven, ven.
¿Dónde está?
Ya no vaya a ver la FNS.
No, sí, he ido
Pero
con
sí que le
4.
estoy guiando. Ven aquí. Mira,
No te
¿me
veo.
ves? Estoy aquí. Gírate.
Se escucha J, ¿vale?
¿El,
Claro.
el que
Mira,
está volando? ¿Ese
Sí,
que
sí.
está volando con una coba?
Sí. Ven, sígueme.
Vale,
No,
ya están
vemos
jugando.
con la
Dice
tirolina,
Ángel.
que más rápido. Ven rápido, ven.
Vale, ya ha empezado.
Corre, ven. Ven aquí, en esta tirolina. Métele en esta tirolina, ¿vale? Para de aquí, te vienes para acá.
Dale al triángulo, Ángel.
Yo me voy con el Yapa.
¿Qué pasa?
¿Te deja bailar algo que se llama Breakdowns? Breakdown.
Yo estoy yendo con el Yapa,
¿Qué?
El baile
¿Qué?
break.
¿Qué baile?
Yeah, they can turn this around and Clement
El
is known
break.
to.
Ah,
He's
que te
the
que comprar
only
campana,
player
ya,
on
yo no
EU
lo
who's
tengo
actually
ya.
managed to qualify for every
Pero ¿por qué
single
ponéis aquí
FNCS?
si aquí se ve mejor?
Only one out of
Aquí es
the
donde
entire
mejor
Ya
se
estoy aquí,
ve.
loco.
This team has the potential to do extremely well. We know they are consistent.
Mira, se ve mejor aquí.
Nico's also both very, very
¿Por qué
consistent.
nadie viene aquí? Nadie.
Moving on to my pick though. Andlex, Janice, and
¿Dónde
X-Force
baja?
now.
¿Dónde?
I've predicted these
¿Cómo se ve
guys
mejor
to
desde-
victory in
Saudón,
qualifier three.
Se ve mejor desde más.
Saudón, europea.
They're second right now, and they are performing very, very well.
Distancia,
7 games
distancia.
left. I believe in my boys.
Te acaba de pegar una
Es verdad.
flecha, loco.
Some fun facts about every prediction. Once again, you
Distancia.
mentioned Clement. I was gonna say maybe change the name to
Este baile yo no lo tengo, Felipe.
in general because this
Este baile yo no lo tengo.
in every
¿Cómo lo ha hecho?
FNCS, no matter
Felipe,
what,
mírame.
he is so rock solid
¿Cómo
when
lo
it
ha
comes to
hecho?
being able to play these games
Felipe,
all the way
mírame.
towards the end. Reese,
Ya
you're
está
also
hecho.
one of the best predictors
En tu
overall
puta
in the FNCS, is always picking first
A mí,
place
en mi cara, en
teams.
mi cara.
So I feel like you have the
¿Cómo lo ha
strongest
hecho,
partner.
Ángel?
Sancho Mongo
¿Qué no sé?
strength right
Pero
now.
qué hacéis,
in
ratas,
first place
tío.
overall. So this man
Eso no se
and
puede
this
pinchar
trio
ya.
are looking
Eso no
so
se puede
powerful
pinchar,
after
qué
day
asco.
one.
Imaginas que ya lo
I picked
tengo.
Click, Anas, and Thomas
Amén.
HD.
¿Qué haces,
These guys
tío?
are having
Gracias.
Eso no se
rough
puede
times
pinchar.
in day number one, but Anas is clutching about 43% of these
No se
guys'
puede
points
pinchar,
flow.
tío. Ah, vale, ahora. ¿Qué le ha
He's looking
pinchado?
really good when he's playing.
¿Cómo la había
¿Y cómo la
pinchado?
tapas,
Ah,
tío,
claro.
Ángel? ¿Le has dado algo?
Que no sé, que estaba bailando este baile y se me ha cambiado.
End up in that top 5.
Voy a bailar yo.
A ver, mira, voy a bailar.
Quédate quieto, mira a mí.
Capability
Tú,
of
mírame.
turning everything around, right? Like we've
En tu
seen
cara.
Thomas clutch single by himself.
¿Quieres tomate?
other
A la cara de él.
trio games,
El tomate.
right?
Ah,
Round heats it. Any of these teams
Pues
can
vaya mierda,
literally
funda.
take these leaderboards and put them on their head. That's why they're here. They're the top 1%. They've made it to grand finals, and
pasado?
now it's about which team will take advantage
Se ha
of
parado.
the day. Which team will make that stamp.
Tira la nariz.
Pues, tío, Ángel, esto no
No
es
me
un culo.
rías.
Tío, para ti tromper la
Now,
FCNS,
Fortnite fam,
tío.
we're not the only ones
Hola.
that are
Hostia, me ha pasado.
So, Sundown, Sancho West, say hello to everyone.
Ah, que ahí hay escobas.
Este baile tampoco lo tengo.
Thank you so much, Zeke Shio.
Tío, vieja escuela. Ahora cuando pone escenario.
Gentlemen, boys and girls, Jonesies, Bonesies, he's, she's, theys, them, everyone in
Ahora aquí se
between.
cogen las
My name's
escobas.
Sundown.
And
Claro.
I am Sancho West, and boy, oh boy, we are going to have
cómo
some
lo hago,
awesome action. And
Ángel?
hello, Party Royale
Que
Island.
no sé,
It is
tiene
so
que
hyped
bailar,
to
no
be
sé,
in
un
game,
baile,
and
yo he
Sundown, I'm
bailado.
so excited
Eh,
to get into it. Here we go.
Un baile,
It
que
is
sea. Bueno, Fernando,
Yo
ese
lo tengo.
baile, de
El
verdad.
vieja escuela lo tengo yo.
Finals, Day 2, Game 6.
Vamos a bailarlo.
Let's see how it all unfolds, and the action will only get more crazier
No me deja
as we get to
bailarlo.
the final Game 12.
And here we go again. Don't
Tío,
forget,
Ángel,
we'll
¿cómo lo
have
hace?
7 matches today. And for those of you who are just
A ver,
tuning
voy a
in,
moverme a ver
it's
si
your
lo
first
tengo.
time, we'll be explaining a bunch of things. But what
Dios,
you need
¿dónde ha caído
to
todo el
know
mundo?
right now, that number 1 spot. They
Esa-
talked
ya-
about
ya
it at the
empezó la
top of the
partida.
show. The best
Tío, ¿por qué
of
no
the
me deja
best,
bailarlo,
arguably
Ángel?
one of the strongest and most
A ver, lo voy a
talented
hacer
trios
así.
in the
A ver
entire
lo
world,
que
and they've
pasa.
shown it so
Ponte un
far
baile
through
al
the
azar,
first
da
5
igual.
games in Europe.
Hola,
It's coming
estoy
out
aquí
of
arriba,
Stark
mira.
Industries. It's E11 Tayson, FaZe
Y
Mongrel,
mírame,
and
y
Liquid Nitro,
mírame.
and they have had
Mírame.
this place wire to wire the entire
si
time.
cambio de baile.
Anybody
No,
who has
mi
come here
Rafa.
basically gets forced
Ey.
snapping to 50-50 one of those
Ey,
henchman
aquí-
chests.
de aquí
Otherwise,
atrás también
they
se ve.
just
Mira
force
el
you
Facebook
out, and they're
Grau.
doing it again.
The only person that's literally contesting, and he has to, is
Vamos, Grau.
Iron Man. And Iron Man is getting destroyed by the Thanos
Madre
of the
mía, qué bueno
Fortnite
que es.
world, and that is the big Grawl
Oh, mata a
and
Iron Man,
Mongrel.
de
And what's the
fácil.
most interesting thing is when I tuned into Mongrel's Twitch stream
Yo ya por
after
otro,
this
ya está.
incredible day one,
Ahora vengo.
he wasn't creative. Free building to stay
¿De dónde
sharp.
cogió los
That's
yapas?
the champion's mentality. There's no
De-
celebrating.
de-
They still
de
know they
concierto,
have a
ellos
job to
me
do.
gustan un sitio.
Mission is not
Me
complete.
daban
Tráeme
un-
uno,
And what was a
tráeme
really sweet moment, so
Vale.
to speak, and I know that may be
Pero no
what
sé cómo se
strange thing to
cuenta.
say when you mention Mongrel, but a really sweet moment was that he was asking for a prayer from his community. He said, look, I'm performing at my best. My mates are performing at their best. I 100% believe that he will be the Fortnite champion at the end of the day and that he will come out on top. That was a very touching moment to tune in to Mongrel stream. So this trio right here, everybody has their eyes on. Everybody in the Twitterverse, the Fortnite fam, was wondering how they would perform. And so far, Sundown, nobody's contesting them. So nobody's going to step up to the challenge to slow down this train.
And largely, we've seen this is kind of beneficial to them. Again, we've talked about the stats over and over again, how this team is almost reliant on Mongrel staying up on his feet. He is the one who makes the plays. He accounts for so many, not only of their eliminations, but also just the number of them.
¿Qué?
So many other trios. I think he
vale, que eso es. Ve a Mongrel.
Acá hay una hamburguesa también.
It's so incredibly difficult.
¿Qué hace Felipe? ¿Por qué se ido para allá?
Strong players in their own right, but aren't necessarily able to convert when he ends up missing. And one thing we talk about just how good Mongrel and Mitro are, but if you go back and actually look at their tournament results outside of Cash Cups, their last quote-unquote signature wins, Mongrel shared the love, March 2019. Mitro, baby, we're going all the way back to fall of 2018. Week 3 fall skirmish to that shockwave play that shocked the entire world. When he threw it on the ceiling, sent himself downwards, kind of the first time we've seen kind of one of those aggressive shockwaves through the builds. But other than that, Kaysen is the one who's had kind of the more recent major tournament victory royale experience. And Mongrel and Mitro are kind of missing that trophy on the shelf. And today, will it be their day?
Can be, or can a new trio on the scene, Wolfies, Kinzel, CRR, who were able to get a victory royale on day 1, and in the opening frame, game 1, they had a strong performance. It was a very chaotic ending in Retail Row. You saw them box fight their way through at the very end, fighting on the low ground, being so aggressive, and they were able to take away that first opening victory royale. But we did see in game 2, they were driving around here on top of the Hydro Dam. One sniper shot their way, kind of sent them going down a very downward spiral. Inconsistency so far from day 1. Let's see if they learned their lessons going into game 2. But here we are. There's still a lot of top talent here competing. There's still a lot of money up for grabs here. So even though we're going to keep an eye on course,
¿Se pueden acabar los yepes en la máquina?
Other big names in the region trying to compete and kind of accrue literally every elim, every placement point. We're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars on the line.
And again, so you can see right now we've yet to have a trio drop only one player. You can see that 98 out of the 99 available players still on their feet.
Nah, tío, Felipe. ¿Cómo se rompe? Vale.
Second shockwave being used in the Enterprise Gaming player. He's going to find Pablo there, shakedown as well to try and identify where the other two teammates are, make sure they get the max damage coming through to indicate the storm surge, and a good pickup there.
That's not the first time that Pablo tried to kind of poke the bear there in a very strong trio. He did that as well in day 1 with Mongrel's trio, and they paid the price. So it's so interesting as well to see, to keep you up to date in the feed. Mr. Savage's trio is getting a knock against that dual media trio as well. So that fight, that engagement, that in Doom's Domain is still popping off here. So we've been seeing, though, in different regions, Sundown, is that sometimes this Craigie Cliffs trio, as you see in Milan's trio, sometimes could push that fight and be wondering. I think what we're seeing here is this Milan trio is picking on the scavenger routes versus going against a power POI like Doom's Domain, like the NA East Zexros of the world.
Which I think is the right decision, and we talk about these scavenger routes. That's when you're not landing at one of the named places on the map. You're just trying to get an aggregate number of chests and whatever loot. Generally, you're also utilizing the fishing pools because there is a solid amount of weaponry that you can pull from there. Some clips of people pulling those epic and legendary pump shotguns, as well as just key fish at the right moments. But being able to pick up 3 points there, each elimination being worth 1, and that will be our first trio going down on the day here in match number 6.
Milan trio was coming into 24th place, so on the bottom half of the board, they had about 23 points, got about 10 elims. Their average placement, though, is about 18 plus, so they're looking to turn that around. And this is the only trio that right now, at the moment, is in striking distance. It is Analex, Giannis, and Xwheeze. This is also a very decorated trio. Z kind of mentioned it at the top of the show. Duos champion, a solo champion in Giannis as well. Analex is that duos champion. Xwheeze is the only one looking for that trophy to add to the mantle. And already, Stir 6 getting fully confirmed in the elim feed. That was another up-and-coming team. But I gotta say, that lead, yes, it's only 30 points, but that's a Victory Royale plus 5 elims. It's gonna be very tough for Analex, Giannis, and Xwheeze to kind of bridge that gap. Because all Mongraal, Mitro has to do, and Tayson, is just keep the pace. Get to in-game. You know, don't kind of take any aggressive fights. Make sure they're standing on their feet to accrue those placement points. And that is why that lead difference can be very difficult. I know we've been talking about it, Sundown, is that, you know, they're very inconsistent and they take some crazy fights. But I'm thinking they learned their lesson. And that's, you know, I believe that Tayson is, like, finally, they're believing in what Tayson's leadership is. And Tayson's being a very, like, super gorilla glue there and holding that trio together.
Well, and it feels like all Mongraal really needs to do is to be able to just rein himself in a little bit. You can tell when he gets that, kind of gets that red in his eyes, wants to go forward just like the charging bull that he is. But right now, CRR finding a huge headshot there with the Stark Industry rifle. We talked about the first shot accuracy we said being very, very quick. And they're going to be able to get a little piece of kind of this third-party action. We saw Stir 6 get taken down early. They're using the palm blast there. To be able to send them forward. You get a nice little redeploy going off, and you can roughly control the direction based off of where the hand is facing. But right now, using that to try and close the gap here. However, the revive is coming through. It doesn't look like they're able to identify where Smudge is right away.
Wolfie's trio and Crow, they came right now into this match at 6th place. So they're coming in within the striking distance. They just got to string together a couple of strong games. And you're seeing here their box fighting skills as they pick up a knock on Smudge, who did get a knock on Stir 6 here. So Stir 6 trio is around this area and they're all the way up. It's going to be interesting to see what Kenzo Wolfies did. They could get a strong start. They had a good start in day 1, getting that Victory Royale. Nice. Wolfies with the confirmation right there with 2 elims. Looking really solid. I'm expecting this trio to start picking up elims, considering that is what they do best. Their average placements is about 12th place. Their average elims is sitting at 3. No doubt this trio could do a lot more work, but it was that game 2 goose egg that really did hurt their stride, and we have to avoid those goose eggs going forward. So if you're on top of the board, you don't want any zeros. You don't want to get knocked out before that 17th place threshold. You want to keep doing what you do, and that is what Benji and Savage now they have to do. Now there's no Lecce, so that's going to be a duo moving on. So, it's going to be so much riding on the line for this to keep up the pace that they're sitting in 3rd place at the moment.
Yeah, and they've had a tough time coming out of Dunes recently. We saw the dual media pressure come onto them, Lecce getting confirmed, but generally you've seen them be very good at prioritizing getting the reboot and then remaining 3 up. However, not quite able to get that over either, as they only got 2 eliminations. So it seems like a little bit of a split fight out of Dune, but a decent loadout right now. Mr. Savage there, you can see, also has the sniper rifle contribute kind of towards the picks. And so far today, it's a little bit of a slower match. We're going to have 21 players threatened by Storm Surge. You can see the damage threshold warning there on the right-hand side. Luckily, these guys, after the contest, are 890 above. Now, if you are new to competitive Fortnite, Storm Surge is actually active in every single game, even the regular squads and solo lobbies, but it only triggers when you have a certain density of players. The current threshold, when the second zone closes and we go to zone number 3, the number we're looking for is 70. So the 21 players who have done the least amount of damage to their opponents will be put under that Storm Surge pressure. It's 45 damage every 10 seconds. So while you can use utility to out-heal it, generally it makes you go aggressive.
And there you see the dual media trio in the background there. But just to give you an idea how important Lecce has been in these grand finals, he is currently leading the way if he wins. So now they're missing that. They are kind of spreading that workload almost evenly, 7, 8 respectively for Benji and Savage. But they've been the only trio that's been fully all the way up. Like, they spend the most time as a trio. So this is going to be one of the rare times in these grand finals that Benji and Savage got to go as a duo. So they're truly putting in that team effort, and the results are speaking for themselves considering that they're in third place. But you can see that the injury that's been caused by that dual Mia trio out in that distance here, they're basically 2v2. You're just seeing that, you know, a contested Doom's Domain could just leave you, yes, you get that opportunity to get that power weapons, opportunity to get those loots, but at the end of the day, man, you're going into these danger zones injured.
And you can see Squeeze picking up eye drop there. He's going to get the confirmation there. Mapso's getting busy on top of these guys. As Savage actually eats a bunch of bullets in the back. I think that was either dual media or one of the other teams posted up on the side there. They're going to work along this bottom side tunnel here, but they need to be conscious of the fact that they don't have a ton of white heals outside of the chunk splashes, and largely they want to save those for Indian scenarios when both of them need them, if possible, because now it's just going to be effectively wasted as the throw gets Benji there. And you can see Savage has a player at his back as well, hopped into the box, but they're not paying attention to where Benji is. Brilliantly done there to get the first conversion. That's largely going to be Storm Surge pressure, but above them, raining down shots on the centric ADN, the train hard duo Mapso and Amplified with Benji, going to be able to clean up one. Savage gets the other, and a nice pickup for them there. 4 points so far, but Savage, man, very little white HP.
And if Savage gets tagged here a bit, that's going to be the green light for any trio to kind of jump on down. And just looking at it right here, it's like once you kind of leave your main power POI, the question is, where are we going to find a replenishment? And considering right now, there's literally zero or minimal opportunities to kind of farm up, you're going to have to get it from another trio. And when you're in shambles like Benji and Savage are, that's going to be so difficult. Yes, they get a little brief refresher. They find their little moment of oasis. But that could be sooner mirage going forward for the rest of the ride here in this opening game in day 2. This is the grand finals. This is the FNCS Trios. At the end of the day, we will crown an FNCS Trios champion, and that's going to be awesome. And they're going to collect $111,000, wield the axe of champions, and gain the ultimate respect of being a champion.
Currently on board here, they were fifth coming into the day. Solari, Floki, and then Rams Clement and Nakos, the French trio, being absurdly consistent during their heats. Having a good start to the day yesterday, but two really waffling games there. Games 3 and 4 made it tough and kind of allowed for the top of the leaderboard to separate themselves out a bit. Now, one thing about this trio in particular is they're a little bit more aggressive on average than any other trio in EU. They generally will pick up their first eliminations around 8.5 minutes in, which is more so than a lot of the other teams. So despite being uncontested, they're more than comfortable to go out and not only get tags, but look for confirmations. And one thing I want to note, we went from 91 players to 66 players in that nice little spurt there. So the Storm Surge driving plenty of action and plenty of points being doled out, but it's all in the form of those eliminations because the placement points won't come through until we have our top 7.
It's the same thing that we saw in NA East in their day 1. It was a fantastic cast covered by Ozzy Antics and Monster Face. All those players in the NA East region were playing so tight to the chest. They were making sure that every build mattered and every peak mattered, every edit mattered. And we were seeing those crazy Storm Surge, or I remember like 5 minutes will pass and everybody will still be alive and up and running. Analyx gets a confirmation of Vettel, so Vettel, iDrop, and Stursix are out. Benji is still cooking up right there, going against Carrot, a new star that kind of prop up on the scene in the FNCS Invitational as the coolest Carrot. But hey, I don't know how long you could be cool, man. It's time to heat up, man. I don't know what you got to do if you're the coolest Carrot, but now it's time to heat it up because right now the action is heating up as we can get a nice overview of Thomas HD and that trio who had a decent start. They pulled zone, and I really believe, and I'll get into it if we have an opportunity, I really believe that shifting that landing from retail from Dirty Docks to Retail Rope is really affecting that Thomas HD trio.
Yeah, it makes it a little tough to be able to get out
no me tires cama, por favor.
Utility being used as players on the 4th zone. Positioning in this zone is so important because the change
Madre mía, la gente que hay ahí.
Will then be our half in, half out. That means the safe area will kind of cut around the outside, so players, rather than heading central like you want to for the first 3 zones, will now crowd around the outside for the hopes of pulling that half in, half out 5th zone, so then they'll get priority on the moving zone safe area for the new zone, and that causes everyone to be forced to rotate. That's where high ground ends up being so important.
Here is our wild card trio who are able to get into the very intense, super hype. All the metaphors in the world will not explain how intense that situation is. It is Rojo's trio, and they're doing really well here in the grand final stage, sitting at 10th place, and they pick up a big knock on Hen. And Hen, Putrick, and Deceptos were one of those trios that were a lot of people were picking as a dark horse. So this is going to be a big impact elimination, not only for Dave just on the leaderboard, but for Rojo's trio for just to have that confidence of knowing they can compete. And that just is what's really wild here about that the 33rd team can still walk away with the grand championship at the end of the day. Deceptos, Putrick, and Hen. And we all know, just like Mongrel's importance to that trio, Hen is super important to Deceptos and Putrick. And Putrick goes down.
Putrick goes down again. Smash Dave, and you talk about it. Rojo, the World Cup duos runner up there with Wolf, now representing Smash Dave Sports. You can see SD Nate and then Bobo of Exalti as well. They came up clutch in the fighter modes yesterday, but now putting good pressure. And we talked about it. Hey, what's the difference between the first and the 33rd team in the finals? Well, they all get to play all 12 games, and it's a fresh slate once you get there. So all that matters is you got invited to the dance, and right now these guys have been very much so capitalizing on the opportunities and finding some great rifle shots. The angles here from these guys almost completely covered, and notice how they have the metal full belt cones above them, cutting down the angle on anybody else who might be or might even thinking about throwing shots towards them. So good effort there to convert into 4.
It's all about the acute angles right there. Everything matters. Every moment matters. Every knock matters. Every confirmation even matters. This is what the intensity is of Fortnite competitive play, especially on the grand final stage. And some people will be able to step up to that pressure, and they're going to be able to play outside of their minds, and we're all going to get hyped and say, what are you doing? What did you eat for breakfast? How are you doing this? Or some of them are just going to be able to fold, but that doesn't matter. And you've made it this far. You have an opportunity to build off of this, to build that confidence. And that is what's so amazing about this, is that if you think about the EU region entirely, it's probably one of the most dense regions in the Fortnite competitive scene.
Oh, it's absolutely the most tense. The most players competing, especially at the highest level that are going through, the most tournament participation. And you've seen time and time again that some of the plays that come out of this region, the gun skill and the level mechanics are utterly ridiculous at times. Might not have the most discipline, but what does discipline matter when you can beat the person who's across from you 9 times out of 10? And right now you can see Clement and Floki Nakos were able to pick up elimination onto Vidil and Fastroki's trio. So going to be able to snake away a point there, and also avoid Sturm Surge for that 5th zone threshold. It is 50 players, so we're right at that line. We are also at the line where placement points are about to begin to be doled out. So once we get into the top 17, every single trio that falls will then be 1 more point. And once you're into the top 3, there's an additional 11 points on the line. 3rd gets +2, 2nd gets +4, and then the Victory Royale walks away with a big old +5. And whatever eliminations they can rack up at the end. And right now, we're seeing good discipline here.
No, pero se te
finding an angle, being able to put pressure, and they pulled priority on this zone here. You can see their bottom right-hand corner. They have the white line, and everyone else is going to have to pass them if they want to head to safety, and they're going to begin to try and head upwards a little bit. Nope, they open that up, and they see, never mind, somebody's directly above us. We're going to stay on this low ground.
Here we are going into full storm rotations now. 6, 7, 8 are going to be outside of the storm every time this trio gets into the safe zone, and then 9 is the ultimate closing zone. We'll go all the way down to the entire screen is filled purple, but Nakos gets a big knock on Yanis on the same layers there as they're going to make their full rotation. That is the power of having priority. You can kind of look back and they get a squeeze as well. So they're going to trade out when Nakos is going to go down, pick up the quick heal. That's a great benefit as well, being on the front side of the storm. You have the time to res, and they're going to barely get that res off. And now we're going to take a look at the chaos. You're going to have the low ground form up. You're going to have the mid ground form up. And of course, who is at height is always the question that everybody wants to know. Because they're going to have the power position here to walk away with the victory royale. Savage goes down and gets fully confirmed in the feed. All the names are going to start lighting up here for the moment here, Sundown.
Yeah, now we have our placement points beginning to get doled out, and they're going to come in very quickly. 2 already ticking over as we're into our top 15. 35 players remaining, but a good execution there. coming through from Nakos and Co to get back to a strong 3. Now they're going to about face and start spraying shots. Andalix will also get confirmed by Black. That's a second place team being taken down. We talked about Rojo and Co, but they will be no mo there as he gets taken out. However, Mongraal, Tayson, Mitro, if the #1 team doesn't fall and gets high ground every game, this is going to be a race for second as they open up match number 6. Just like they closed the rest of the day yesterday. Raining down the AR shots with Neri. Hop on board here with the
bueno, gracias.
Y voy a ver cómo pídele.
Gracias, porque así voy más rápido. Jaja. Guay. Joder, Cabi, he hecho sucia rata. Ahí llenando esto, tacho. Voy a ver cómo hago.
Yes, already metaphorically as well. On top of the leaderboard is Mongraal, and on height is this game as Nakos does pick up an Elan right then and there. It's so important, but we've been seeing the playstyle in the EU region to overcome height at a moment's notice. We've been seeing a lot of low ground victory royales. The question is can Mongraal hold on? And Kenzo is actually going for height. It's Cammy. 2 teams are competing from height, and it's going to be Tayson that's going to be left on alone. And you mentioned Mongraal going down. That is the ultimate closer for that trio. Mitro and Tayson are going to have to do it as Cammy and Raxo take control of height, as you're seeing on your bottom right. On the top right is going to be the low ground. And Clement, and man, look at them. They're getting so many elims right now. Already with 7 sundown.
And there's plenty more on the board. They're also getting the placement points ticking over. Top 4 with 9 players remain. But all of a sudden, Clement is all alone. He's going to turn around and pick up CRR. It's going to be a 1v3. He finds a second right away. That was Mitro for the full confirm, but he goes down in 3rd. Raxo up on the high ground, running it out now, and the challenge comes up from Kinzo, and he gets swatted down. Raxo.
¡Joder! Si quedamos
¡Vamos! ¡Vamos! A divertirnos.
¡Me cago en el puto duende!
Venga, ahora.
What we got, Sancho, is day 2, and we have even more day 2 teams. This is what we were talking about at the very beginning of this show. Cammy, Artur, I cannot believe they find themselves the Victory Royale. Just for clarity, they came in and ended day 1 in 14th place. And now they're going to start day number 2 with the Victory Royale and eliminations. I mean, this is exactly what we've been talking about. I'm so surprised, and gentlemen, we're going to break down kind of what went down a little bit more. But remember, we've got the stage. These cumulative leaderboards, you've still got Mongraal, even after that. I mean, 40 points ahead? I don't know how they're doing this.
It's like they didn't win that last game, but they did not lose it either. They got to survive all the way till the very end, and now they have an even bigger lead, Reese.
17 points maximum. Really nice. And like we said, we need to keep this consistency up. They're already coming in strong on the first game of day 2, consistent as they were yesterday. You can see kind of Andalix not managed to get that many points, only 4, so they're still holding on to that second place spot. But you know, they really want to be trying to bridge that gap between first and second. And so far, it's only going a little bit further.
Yeah, so our top 3 also switched up with Benji going down to 5th, and then we see another CRR get 3rd overall. This is what Zeke was saying.
Puto duende no se quita de ahí. ¡Joder!
Being really consistent, they managed to keep that mobility for the end game. Take height, win the game that way. Away from them, pushing them up from 14th all the way up to 6th.
Yeah, and all the way from 6th down to 15th. There's been a few switch-ups here and there. Nate, Rojo, and Bobo move all the way up to 11th. From what we saw before. Are getting that Victory Royale, but all starting petering off now. Dropping out of the top 10 place. And Paige, we'll see if they can bring it all the way back. Vettel, iDrop, and Star6 also sure to look out for that plays very consistently. Yaxel and Skype, I love actually seeing their names now. It looks so clean in 15th place. 47 points, not too far behind the competition. Still very close to the top 15.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it when you can read the names, it's clear, and you can find the players. I'd love it.
Acaba de acabar la
all the teams that you're seeing here between 16th and 20, you know, most of these guys are really struggling with that early and mid game, in particular with Storm Surge. You know, these guys in this grand finals kind of lobbies, going for Storm Surge tags is extremely difficult, and your strategy really needs to be down. Queasy Milan Chapix in 19, coming out.
¿Yo te deja coger uno?
¿Qué fucking ama? Esto güey. No, ya, es que solo era una. Solo era una.
Ya terminé, ya yo me voy a jugar al Fortnite.
¿Qué?
Ven conmigo. Sí. A ver si me sigue. ¿Dónde se lo
Throughout the entire FNCS, we're going to the top 8, the top 15. Now it's about the top 3, especially from day number 1 and how they looked. Mongraal, Mitro, and Casey landing over at Stark Industries. One of the best POIs.
A ver si no han dado eso, a ver si no lo han dado.
Que no lo han dado, es que hemos estado más de una hora.
Sí, hemos estado más de una hora. Hemos estado 1 hora y algo.
Hemos estado 50 minutos. Hemos estado 50 minutos.
Yo me voy a esperar un
¿Y qué me han dado?
Tío, me acaban de dar la skin de la... ¿Queréis que me la pongo? Me la acaban de dar.
Claro.
Mentiroso, sucia rata.
Sí.
Pero ¿cómo vamos a hacer la Among Us?
Ya uno me ha salido, esperaros, que yo quiero...
¿El creativo?
2.
Cuando pongamos creativo.
Mira, chavales, la skin de superhéroe. Se me olvida. Mírala, aquí la tenéis.
Claro, mentira.
El aguacate es una fruta. El potasio.
Salte.
El potasio. Sí, potasio, man. O sea, potasio. Venga, decid algo de la...
Madre mía, el Yepa y la Cuba.
¿Queréis poner en modo creativo?
Salte.
Porque vamos a hacer una Among Us.
Por eso en creativo...
Qué hijo puto. No, en creativo no, tío. Una Among Us verdadero. Una Among Us verdadero de verdad.
No, creativo.
Pues cuadrones. Vamos a jugar pública o algo así, tío.
Que no.
Me canso de creativo.
Creativo.
Es que me canso ya de creativo.
Pues creativo, ¿quién es el líder?
Pues yo estoy cansado.
Felipe.
Porque estoy cansada de creativo. Si me regaláis un equipo muy creativo, ¿te imaginas?
Felipe, tío, por lobo.
Vale, pero... es que no quiero, no me gusta.
Venga, Felipe.
Vale, venga, pero me pongo... Pero yo voy a jugar, Ahora después vamos a hacer cuadrones. Como que yo me llamo Felipe.
Vale.
Pues es que ha puesto un fiesta magistral.
Hacer el amor. Bro, tío, es que la skin que lleva José David está fachón. ¿La ha pasado eso más, sí?
No.
No se lo pasé.
Claro que no se lo voy a pasar.
O sea, tú te compras tu Nintendo Switch y ahora te obliga a que tú le des la cosa que tanto va a ti. José David lo ha hecho bien.
Vale, dale listo. Dale listo, monas. Poquito, a poquito.
¿Qué pasa, brothers?
Pongo yo Among Us.
Vale.
¿Hacho que no me mete? Vale, ahora.
En pantalla.
¿Tenéis el mapa?
Yo no, yo ya seguí al duende.
Yo sí, yo lo tengo.
Yo te sigo, duende.
¿Está guapo?
Sí.
¿Dónde están?
Oh.
Mis picos son los mejores de los que hay aquí. Y son más.
¿Dónde descargas el Fortnite?
Mis picos son mejores que los de Fernando, que el de Ángel y que los de José.
¿El qué?
Mira, pero
rajo.
Mis picos, mira, llevaban una sandía, mira, le doy, mira.
Entramos.
¿Alguien me puede decir este código? Mira, poneos para poner código.
Te lo digo yo.
No, 0.
Lo pongo yo.
0.
Vale, lo pongo yo, espérate.
¿Cómo lo ves, loco?
Pero aquí.
Vale.
0.
2.
Dímelo.
0, 2, 8, 8.
8, 8.
3, 6, 0, 0.
¿Vale? 3.
7, 0, 90.
0, 0.
70, 90. 70, 90.
¿Sí está viendo lo de... Dale, agacha.
Yo.
¿Ya?
¿Ya está?
Red Bull. Un poquito gratis que Red Bull. ¿Sabes que Pedro Benito es de Murcia? ¿Sabes quién es Pedro Benito?
No.
¿Tú sabes quién es?
¿Nos cambiamos de equipo o
no? No se vale.
Este.
Claro, camino. Aún no me ha cargado,
Estoy en otra persona, estoy...
Ya, es que eso es de la parte del este.
Es que estoy en primera persona, creo.
Ya. Ahora os tenéis que esperar, no es un bug, os tenéis que esperar, ¿vale?
Ya no me muevo. Ahora.
¿Dónde te aparece?
Arriba pone you are a...
¿Y aquí cómo se mata? Si te toca ir para acá.
Pues con el pico. Tienes que dar un picado. Vale, es por saber.
A mí no me deja,
Me voy aquí, ya estoy huyendo.
Mira. ¿Esto cómo se hace?
Ay,
necesito eso. Necesito
cosas. ¿Eso es para recargar rata inmunda?
¿Esto qué es? ¿Cómo, coño? No.
Ay,
mira, si te puedes meter por aquí es que puedes... Eres...
¿Dónde estás?
Alguien ha muerto.
Felipe.
Es Felipe.
No. Hola.
Me ha puesto que alguien había muerto.
¡José David!
¡Ah!
¿Cómo lo sabes?
Pues está picando.
Ya sabía yo que era él.
¿Cómo reportamos?
Corre. Estoy yendo a los centrales. ¿Dónde está? ¡Ah! Las pociones. ¡Corre! ¡No! ¡Sujeto! Va a tener una pistola para... Tienes que darle su botón. A su botón ese. Bueno, José, ¿cómo te sientas de esto?
Pero es que no lo sabía.
Es que en la siguiente partida vamos todos separados. Ahí, al botón ese. Al tuyo. Vale.
Cuando eres impactante te pones pino.
Te pone arriba rojo tu nombre.
No, pero me han puesto you are Spy. No, impactado, me ha puesto Spy.
Vale. Eso vale. Es ser impactado.
Vale.
Vale, y vamos a ir todos separados.
Claro, si no, una caca.
Vale.
Es que vamos todos juntos ahí, parecemos ahí los reyes.
Al único que me cargas es el Felipe.
Ya, pero has tenido una mala suerte, porque te me han matado cuando estábamos todos.
¿Y con qué se...?
¿Esto qué es? ¿Qué aparece al principio?
Que no, que esto es... Bueno, no había
por ahí. Mierda, no puedo. No soy.
¿Pero qué aparece al principio? No estoy dentro del mapa.
Vale, hacer tareas.
¿Me meto? No estoy dentro yo.
Que si estás dentro.
No.
Sí.
Estoy en el menú.
¿Cómo que en el menú?
Estoy en la sala, sí. Estoy en la central.
Pues métete otra vez en la isla.
¿Y dónde está el para... Para reportar. Y lo de...
pero si os matan no vale que os pongáis a decir... Es tal.
Estoy viendo al duende.
¿Cuál es la emergencia? ¿Dónde está la emergencia?
Vale.
No hay emergencia.
Para votar emergencia.
¡Oh!
Ha ganado ya, me cago en tú.
Era Felipe.
Ya lo sabía, por eso quería votar.
Es que por eso me seguía tanto, tío. Es que...
Es que... ¿Dónde estaba la emergencia?
Ya estás metido, ¿no, José?
Sí.
Corta.
¿Quién está picando?
Vale, yo no sé, eso ya no.
Alguien ha picado, he visto
Lo puede decir todo el mundo.
Yo no sé.
Es Fernando. ¿Qué cagado?
¿Es Fernando? ¡Ah, qué miedo! ¿No serás tú, Felipe?
No.
Yo no soy.
¡Ayúdame, me sigue el Felipe! ¡Toca el botón, por favor! ¿Dónde está el botón?
Ay, pero que yo no soy Ángel.
¿Dónde está el botón?
Vale.
Yo sé que
Vale.
Felipe.
¿Quién es?
Felipe.
No,
Yo no soy.
Por mí...
Yo no soy.
¿A quién votamos?
Yo voy a votar, Ahí estoy.
¿Quién?
A Fernando, chavales.
Yo voy a votar a este.
Yo no. ¿Qué hacéis? ¿Por qué yo?
Tienes que darle al botón que hay, ese rojo.
¿Yo por qué? Vale, buena.
¿Dos? Nadie fue inyectado.
Te salva la vida,
Vale. Yo no soy
la vida. Te salva la vida.
Yo voy a votar por botón. Sí, anda. Yo tengo miedo de Felipe. Sí,
¿Dónde está? Claro, Felipe. ¿Dónde está el botón?
Vale.
Creo que si no es Felipe, es Fernando.
Yo creo que tengo escáner.
¿Pero dónde está el botón? Es que no lo sé. ¿Cómo habéis votado?
Aquí en el medio.
Me voy, me mata.
¿Dónde está?
Yo tengo escáner,
Este. Vale, dale.
Buena. A
Felipe.
Ahora.
¿Cuál es el botón de Felipe?
Ese, el que pone ahí, el que
Pero que yo no he hecho nada.
Vale, ya sé cuál es.
Os lo juro que yo no he hecho nada.
Como no sea Felipe, es una de vosotras dos, porque yo tengo canas. Miradme ahora si queréis.
¿Y cómo que tienes canas?
Yo no soy.
Yo tampoco.
Yo creo que es duende. Yo creo que es duende.
¡Yo!
Es duende.
Qué falso.
¿Eras tú?
¿Era Felipe? No era Felipe.
Mira,
Es duende, yo creo que es duende.
Que yo no soy. Mira,
Si el impostor mata a uno, ya se acabó la partida. Así que el impostor
tú
puede
no me
matar
creas,
a uno.
Fernando, pero yo no soy.
¿Qué? Vamos, Dora, vamos. Cojones, que no se mueve.
Que el impostor ya gana la partida.
Vale, chavales, voy a cenar mientras que hablo con vosotros.
Yo voto. Pues vamos a hacer trío, porfa.
Que no, que voy a hacer... Bueno, pues venga, me pongo no participando y hago el ¡no! No me expulséis,
¿Quién era?
¿Quién era?
Era duende.
Era yo.
Era duende.
Es que estaba acusando demasiado. Salió.
¿Tío? No, tío.
No salgáis, que me meto en el creativo, que vamos a hacer creativo y matar normal.
¿Nos hacemos un Fall Guy aquí, en el Fortnite?
Venga.
Pero me salgo.